Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. Well, we're going to talk about Bigfoot tonight. It's a fantastic subject, but I like to talk about, and I know a lot of people in the chat room will enjoy it today. His name is Greg Yoist. Greg aka the Squatching since 2002, when a Squatch walked into his life at the dark Indiana forest. He's 11 years in the veteran of the United States Navy. Over the past years, I have seen many Bigfoot and had many amazing experiences and encounters. Can we please welcome Greg to the show? Hello there.
Hey, hello. Hey, hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on the show, sir.
Hey, can you walk us back to that first sighting you had all them years ago?
Yes, yeah, that's what got me started in the whole Bigfoot thing. I was out of the Navy. It was 2002, November, getting close to Thanksgiving over here in the United States. And I was going through a bad time in my life. My wife left me, took my babies. I got laid off from my job. Things were really bad. The economy was really horrible. Plants were closing everywhere. So anyway, I got laid off and all that, and then my wife leaving. So I was pretty down and out. So I went out to the forest a lot, and I took my dog with me, to try to find myself. Get out there and do some soul searching.
Hmm.
Find out what is my purpose in life. And I went out to this forest in southern Indiana, Ferdinand State Forest. My mom grew up in that town, and I was very familiar, with the forest. I went swimming there when I was a kid, and it was a good, happy place for me. So I went out there a lot, and there was a lake there and a big hill there. And this one November night, I was out there with my dog. I made a little fire. I had some hot dogs. I was frying there over the fire. It was just a nice, relaxing evening. It was late November, like I said. It was very cool, very dark, and there wasn't no lights back there or anything. It was a little road over the dam that went back to this little area where you could camp out. Like 3 or 4 places. That was it. And they had a couple of picnic tables and an outhouse. That was it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and another dog comes up, like a beagle kind of dog, and he starts messing around. I gave him a couple of hot dogs. He's messing around with my dog Buddy. My buddy, he was a golden retriever chow mix. He looked like a little grizzly bear. He weighed over 100 pounds. He was a heavy boy, and he was a very good, very loyal dog. And that's all I had left. I took him everywhere I went. And so he's playing with this dog a little bit. They didn't run off or anything. They stayed right there. And out of the dark night, here comes a pair of headlights coming down. And he pulls up over the dam, comes up to me, and he was a county sheriff, out on patrol. And when we talked for about 15, 20 minutes, and he said he wanted that other dog, and he got off at 6 in the morning, and he'd be back to get it. I'm like, well, I probably won't be here, but yeah, you want the dog? Go ahead and come get it. So anyway, he left, and it wasn't 15 minutes later. I'm sitting there, enjoying the night, and I hear this crashing coming down off the hill. I mean, heavy, heavy crashing, um, heavy foot stomps, branches breaking, sticks breaking. Yeah, it sounded like a Sherman tank was coming down off that hill. I mean, it was so loud, coming through this real quiet November night. And I'm sitting there, I'm just awed. I didn't know what to think. and it kept getting closer and closer, and it got all the way down by me. There's a big white birch tree there. We're right there at the where the woods cut off, where they had this little camping area, and he stopped right behind that tree, and I could hear him breathing. You know, it sounded like this. I mean, just an incredible, sound like a speaker. It was so loud.
Yeah.
And this is going on, and and I don't know what's going on. I'm froze at the table. I don't know if I'm in mild shock, trying to, figure out what's going on. I've never heard anything like this, seen anything like this. I just couldn't believe what was happening. And to make matters worse, my dog and his other dog, they head towards the tree, and they sit down about 10 feet in front of that tree. I'm only 20 feet away from the tree, and I hear this thing up there. I mean, his breathing's louder and louder. So I kicked my warrior mode in. I just got out of the Navy a few years back. I always carried around a Colt 45, and I had it in my car. So I'm like, get your gun, man, get your gun. So I jumped up, I got my gun, I loaded it, I cocked it, and I felt like I had a little bit more control of what was going on. And I snapped out of my stupor. I got back in reality, and I'm telling myself, this is a life or death situation. There's something behind that tree that's probably going to try to kill you. Yeah, so I learned in the Navy, for every action, you got to have a reaction. And if you're a second too late on that reaction, good chance you're going to buy the farm. Yeah, and that's the graveyard. So immediately I started screaming at Buddy. He wouldn't even turn around. I'm Buddy, Buddy. He wouldn't even turn around. He was a well-minded. Yeah, he's a well-minded dog. It was like he was in a trance, looking up at this tree. So I knew I had to get up there. I had to get him. I probably had to carry him back in my lap. All this was going through my head. This big thing, whatever it was back here, probably getting ready to jump out at me. So I turned my attention to him. I started screaming at him. Yeah, I'm cussing at him. I'm screaming at him. I'm asking him, what are you? Who are you? I told him I didn't want any trouble. I wasn't looking for trouble. I don't want no trouble, but if you come around that tree, I got a gun here. I'm going to light you up, and I'm probably going to kill you. So for God's sake, do not come and make me do that. And the breathing's just getting louder and louder as I'm getting up by my dog.
Oh, God.
So again, I tell them, I'm getting my dog, I'm getting in my car, and I'm leaving. Again, don't make me have to shoot you. So I get Buddy, and I get him in my lap, and I got my pistol pointed right up to where if he came out, I was going to get a good chest shot. I always get the blood pump or the heart. So I was going to unload in this beast chest area, hoping for a quick kill, because if I didn't, he probably would have killed me. So anyway, I made it back to my car. He never came out. I threw Buddy in the back seat. I got in the front seat. It was a Pontiac Grand Prix 2000. I bought it brand new. It was a very beautiful car, and I'm lucky it started right up. I'm lucky I had a gun in there. So anyway, I backed up to the dam, and I'm a smoker, and I left all my stuff on the picnic table, and I was shaking like a leaf on a tree. I was really shooken up, and I needed a cigarette bad. So against better judgment, I went back to the picnic table to get all my stuff there. And again, I knew nothing about Bigfoot. Uh, Never heard nothing about Bigfoot other than the Patty film that was on Johnny Carson one night.
Mm.
That's all I ever seen of something like that. So as the way back to the picnic table, I hit my bright lights and I glanced up in that tree. I seen a big black hairy arm hanging over the tree, almost a 4 foot tree. I went back many a times to measure it, and it had long black hair coming off the hand all the way up to the elbow. I seen the fingers through the elbow, and the fingers. Oh, they look like big cigars, just huge. Way bigger. I got big hands,
Yeah.
and they were way bigger than mine. So, I'm looking up there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, what is that? So I pull up to the table. Again, I'm right there. I really don't even get out of my car. I get my stuff. I had my gun again, and I hollered up there. I said, I'm leaving. I said, you'll probably never see me again. I go, thanks for not attacking me. And I left. And I looked down there, and that other dog was down there. Same spot, still looking up.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, man, yeah. So I'm like, man, should I save that dog? Oh, I didn't know what to do, and my better judgment, yeah, I already got lucky. I hope the dog made it out, man, or who knows. But I went ahead and left, and that's what got me into this. And that was back in 2002, and we're at 2025 now, and I've had nothing but great journeys ever since that, because I want to find out what this thing was, who it was, and where did it come from. I mean, if there was one, I thought it would be out, where they had Patty at out in California. Who would know that there was one of these, right here in Indiana? It was mind-boggling. But
It
ever
sounds.
since then, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I've got a question from Lee. Libertine Pike Lee Roscoe. Question: with human beings being born with fast-moving eyes, is that why we see chocolocos moving in very slow motion to extra eye themselves as another defense? With human beings born with fast-moving eyes, is that what we see?
It's a good chance. Do the eyes glow?
Yeah.
Yeah, if the eyes glow, you're seeing big. I call them force people. Yeah, I don't call them some. I don't think they're a relic hominid that ain't been discovered, because they can be everywhere and anywhere. I'm sure you got plenty of them in the UK.
Yeah.
I believe that's what you're seeing.
What do you think Bigfoot may biologically be then?
Well, that's a very good question. Um, for something that science don't even recognize as even being real, they write it off as then no evidence to prove that it's real. But if you seen the stuff I do and witness what I have seen, what the science don't realize, that these beings are a lot more than what a lot of people think they are. Flesh and blood ape creature that resembles a man. He walks on 2 legs. He's got arms. He's got an anatomy just like a man. But in realities, these things could cloak. They can disappear right in front of you. They can walk down any street in the UK cloaked and visible. They can come right into your studio right now, and you would not even know it. They can walk through people's houses. They can just about do anything they want. And So you gotta, like I did over my journey to the truth. You gotta ask yourself, what kind of beings can do this? Yeah, so a lot of paranormal stuff started coming into play. Their eyes glow. Uh, they got enormous strength. I've seen them push trees over, with the whole big root ball coming out.
Hmm.
Something a man couldn't even think about doing. You'd have to have a bulldozer to do that. And I've seen one of these push one over. I just seen it last weekend, and I've seen them before do it. Um, so they like showing their strength off to us. Mainly me. I mean, they. That's why that first night out there, I just told you about my story. I think that was a test for me, to see if they wanted to choose me to interact with. And I think I passed their test because I have gotten nothing but action ever since that night. And I even think that they got a connection with the star people. I mean, I've seen them around UFOs before. How can you explain that? Why would they be hanging around UFOs? I had reports of very credible people here in Indiana. An 80-year-old farmer who seen a UFO hovering over his field, and a big bright light came down, and a Bigfoot came down out of that light and walked through his cornfield into the woods. So, you can't ignore stories like this. This guy seeked me out because he knew what I did, and he wanted to tell me his story. He said if he told the other people, they'd laugh and joke at him and say he was a nut. And that's the way it usually is. People don't want to tell their stories because they're so out there. But when you're dealing with these force people, it's like an episode of the Twilight Zone. Because what they can do, they can mind read us. They can mind speak to us. They know what's on your mind as soon as you get to the force. They know your intentions. They know what kind of person you are. They've been known to heal people. I'm talking about doing the Lord's work, healing people on their deathbeds. I've heard plenty of stories and even talked to people who have been healed. So, you're talking about a very special being, and I believe it is here. Is it an earthly creature? I couldn't tell you. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea. Is it a intergalactical, interdimensional traveler? I'm leaning more towards that than anything,
Hmm.
because again, what I've witnessed in the woods, there's a lot to them.
Well, yeah, I think you picked on some of what I was going to say. Do you think we are chosen? Some people are chosen to see Bigfoot.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That they pick and choose who they want to have encounters with. And I have found out that the way that worked for me is I'm a simple man. I love the forest. I love going out to the forest. I'm a good-hearted man. I love humanity. I love animals. Um, I feed a lot of stray cats. I'm just a big, loving kind of man, and they've seen that in me. And I think that's the kind of people that they look out for, and they want a man or a woman with the intelligence that can process the stuff that they're going to get when they do get interacted with. And instead of running from them or trying not to believe stuff that happens, but it really happens, I found I got to accept everything that happens, no matter how far it is up there. I got to come to my conclusion that these things are off the chart with energy, off the chart with man's understanding. And that's why they only pick a few people who they interact with. And then they want you to know all about them. I've had them come up to my tent and I call them my name out. I mean, they know your names. I mean, once they know you, from what I understand, they all know you. So I could go to the UK, or you could come here, and if you were one of the chosen ones, they would follow you here. It's that simple. I mean, they can go anywhere they want to be,
Another
and that's interdimensional traveling.
question from Rebecca here. Have you experienced families of them, Greg?
Yes, I have. Yeah, very good question, Miss. They do live in families. They like living in villages. Yeah, they're tribal people. I'm friends with one I call Big Red. He's got a mate and three children that I've known for years, and they all got big, beautiful red eyes. And on any given night, I will see all five of them out there watching me. And Big Red is a big, big boy. He's 15 feet, probably has size 25 feet, and his mate is considerably smaller. She's probably about 7 foot, but they are family orientated. They pick a mate and they're with that mate for life. They don't go around like a pack of animals, like cats, humping on every animal and eat. No, they're not like that. They have families. They have aunts, uncles, elders. Um, and you see everything in the village. Everything from babies, I mean, newborn blue-faced babies that look like chimpanzees, all the way up to old elders who look like they're 250 years old. Yeah, I call them the ancient ones also. They have a very long lifespan, much like the biblical characters did. Yeah, like Moses, 140 something years old out in the desert, leading the people through the promised land. Yeah, it wasn't nothing for them people to live that long back then. Why don't we live that long anymore? Because we have lost our ways. We're eating all this toxic food that our people and the government's giving us to eat. And yeah, they didn't have that stuff back when they were living. They ate a healthy, pure lives. And that's what the forest people are doing. They eat healthy, pure food, everything out of the forest. And they only get what they need. And so that's the secret of longevity with them.
Yeah.
But yes, that was a
Another
great question.
another question from Lee. This is if they Greg, cloak themselves, can you still feel the energy around us?
You got a very educated crowd tonight, buddy. I'll tell you, because I preach this all the time. They're all about energy. And yes, Lee, you can feel the energy. Uh, Even though you sometimes you can smell them, but all the time you can feel the energy. I mean, your hair on your arms will stand up. The hair on your neck will stand up. You'll feel, you'll feel juiced, and it may not last long, but you know they were there. And I preach that to everybody. They're all about energy. And again, that was a very good question, and I hope I answered it to your liking.
I'm sure they are. I know we've talked about why do you think people think they have paranormal powers?
Why do they think they're normal? What animals or?
No, do you think they've got paranormal powers?
I believe they got paranormal powers. I'll give you an example. If you get close to one and they don't want you around, just what we talked about the energy, they can take that same energy and zap you like a laser gun hitting you. You'll get disorientated. You'll get dizzy. You'll get weak. You'll get nauseated. You'll get down on your knees like you're going to have to throw up. That's happened to me 3 different times. And it's not fun. And so I'm sure if they really wanted to turn it up some, they could really do some damage to you. But I call it getting zapped. That's one instance of being paranormal. Another is just what you was talking about being cloaked. I mean, how can something do that and not be considered paranormal? I mean, me or you, we can't do that. Yeah, we can't cloak, turn ourselves invisible, but yet the force people can. And a lot of people will disagree with that, but I know for a fact, I've seen it firsthand. Me and a couple of people were following one, and it turned into an energy orb floating through the woods 10 feet high, going real slow through the woods as you could hear the footprints or the footsteps right underneath it. And pretty unexplainable until I figured it out. And it was flesh and blood until it turned into that. And he left a big handprint on the log, a fallen log, and we were right on his tail, me and a couple ladies. And then as we were getting closer, apparently, that's when he cloaked. And that's when they took a couple pictures and they got that orb. We didn't see the orb with our eyes. A lot of times you can't see the energy orbs, but I can guarantee you them are Bigfoots. They change into orbs, and a lot of them have faces on them. If you look deep inside of the orb, it's got a face of a biggie. So I mean, yeah, some really good stuff. And then another one in broad daylight. I seen one messing around in a creek I was hiking. Again, I have witnesses to this also. There was one standing there kneeling down, chopping on a log down there. Yeah, I don't know what he was looking for, bugs maybe. And as soon as I turned the bend there, he looked up and it was like, oh no. So he stood up. I looked him right in the eye. He looked at me in the eye. And he turned around, took one step in the creek, and jumped up the embankment and run up the hill. So I'm pointing to the other people right at him. And this was in the wintertime. And he disappeared right in front of us. And one of the women said, well, where'd he go? And I go, that is the $1,000,000 question. Where'd he go? He vanished right before our eyes. So, yeah, if that's not paranormal, I don't know what is.
Yeah, Lee's just asking another question. Is it like infrasound?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But a very strong infrasound. And they can use that same infrasound to mind speak with you. For people that don't listening that don't know what mind speak is, they can literally talk to you to your mind without even saying a word, and you will hear it. It's like somebody's talking to you, and you will hear it clear as a bell. I mean, they might ask you something, they might tell you something, they might tell you a name of one of their babies. I mean, I don't know. You never know what they're going to tell them. Yeah, I was speaking to one the other night, and I had a blackberry pastry, and I asked him if he wanted it, and he said trade. So I go, okay, you want to trade? I go, yeah. Hey, well, what do you want to trade me? Marble. I said, okay, you want to trade a marble for this pastry? So I sat the pastry out there, and boom, about an hour later, there was a marble sitting back there, and the pastry was gone. So I mean, that's how it works. You know, they don't sit there talking like me and you are. They'll give you a word or two, usually just one word. But yeah, they're not going to tell you anything directly. That's why you got to be very intelligent, and you got to figure a lot of this out. But they would give you a lot of clues, and they would lead you to the right way. You just got to be smart enough to to comprehend everything and really understand deep all about the people. And I think I've accomplished that. And that's how far I've got on my journey with them.
That's brilliant. I know in some states you're not allowed to shoot a Bigfoot. Why is that?
Oh yeah, a lot of states now are having laws because a lot of people like me think they're tribal people. I mean, they were back with the Native Americans, so they say. I mean, even the natives said that they were people, and they wasn't, apes or whatever. And and the ones I've seen, yeah, they got human faces. So I mean, a lot of people, out of the goodness of their heart, I mean, how could you shoot something that looks like you, that's got human ways, and it is a godly creation, just like God created us. He created them people too. We're not the only ones God created, and it's so sad. People are actually going out trying to shoot one to prove that they're real. That's why a lot of these states have got to come up with laws to protect them. Because from what I've seen, they're very godly people. They're kind people. They're good-hearted people, and they're here to help us, here to teach us. So I mean, any person in their right mind would want to go out and shoot one. Uh, I'm totally against that, and I'm glad they're coming up with laws.
Do you, Greg? Do you think the government have got one?
Do you think the government has one?
Yeah. Do you think they've got a dead one, or?
Well, I've heard of stories about dead ones, like the Mount St. Helena volcano. A lot of them said they seen ones up there really dead and hurt, but you never seen it on mainstream news or nobody up there, getting the secret out. Yeah, I was up there. Yeah, so there ain't nothing really. It's just too gray if they got one or not. Yeah, I mean they got a better chance of having aliens, little gray people, with that Roswell crash. I mean, they got a lot of evidence that they do have them people. But as far as a Bigfoot, it would be really hard for a government to get a hold of one. They're very protective of their people, especially the young. And if somebody ever tried to shoot one or capture one, they're probably not going to make it out of the woods alive. I mean, I've seen the power these things got, and a whole army of men couldn't even with their rifles, because I believe you can't kill something that's energy. Anything, it can be flesh and blood. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's the last form of energy that it uses. That's its original state. That's what they look like. But when they don't, when they can't be seen, they gotta go energy. That's why there's very few sightings. Very few. I mean, you're very blessed if you see one, and I've been blessed. But as far as your question goes, that would probably be a mystery until the government comes out and says it. But personally, I don't think one's ever been killed, because I've never seen proof or a credible story about it. Yeah, I've heard of people killing them and this or that. But
No.
where's the picture? Where's the evidence? I
Exactly.
mean,
No evidence at all. What do you think about the DNA studies being done with possible Bigfoot samples?
yeah, I think they're pretty good. They're pretty expensive. Yeah, I got a big glop of hair. As soon as I found it, I knew it was Bigfoot hair, and I had it tested, just a simple one, and it came back no known creature in North America. So I eliminated everything in the forest in Indiana. No known creature or animal. So to do further testing on it, if it costs thousands and thousands of dollars, that I don't really have. So I mean, I got it in a glass case, and I speak at Bigfoot shows around. around Indiana, Kentucky, and different states. And I have it out on my table and let people view it. And the incredible thing about it, a lot of witness reports. They say they got that real black, shiny hair with a blue tint to it. Well, this hair is that black, shiny hair, and it has a blue tint. If you shine it in the sun, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So that I've been offered a lot of money for it, but I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to be famous or anything. I'm just trying to get the truth out that a lot of people overlook about what these things really are, and that's what I'm doing. But as far as DNA test, most of them come back 98% human, 2% unknown. What's the unknown? So that again backs my theory that they are more human than animal.
Oh, definitely. Yes, I think so as well. Yeah, but it's such an interesting subject to talk about.
Oh, really?
Hey, another thing, what people always say, why don't we find a dead body?
Well, that's another good question, and I believe I got the answer for that too. Yeah, I told you earlier in the show, I believe they're interdimensional beings, and I think it's simple as taking their dead into another dimension. Maybe the dimension they came from, maybe the planet they came from, if they did come from another planet. Uh, but uh, but yeah, they're just not like an animal that's gonna die in the woods. Like you run across a deer. You run across it. It's hard to run across anything dead in the woods. So I'm always out in the woods, and they decompose pretty quick.
Hmm.
But as far as the Bigfoot, I've come across strange looking mounds out there. They could even be burying their dead. I come across an area that had 15 different mounds ranging from 7 foot to 15 foot
Oh
that
my
looked
God.
like they had bodies under them. So, they could be burying them. Yeah, but that's probably the biggest question. How come they never find them? And it's that simple. The force people don't want you to find them. They've been hiding for thousands of years. If it takes another thousand, that's what it's going to take. But for the most part, they do not like humans. Yeah, look at most humans. They don't believe in Bigfoot. How would that make you feel if somebody didn't believe in you? They got feelings just like us. And the last poll I seen, 8% of the whole world believed in Bigfoot. So like 92% of the world thought it was a myth, a legend, not real. So that Bigfoot see people like me, yeah, I totally open up. I'm totally open to them. And they're giving me so much action, so many encounters. I can talk to them. I can talk to them just like us in English. They understand English. A lot of people say they're animals. No, animals don't understand English. And these people, like I said, they know my name. Uh, yeah, it just blow a lot of people away. Everything they can do, even hiding their dead, uh, because there's a lot of them here. If I had to put a number on it, you would not believe how many of them are here.
I can imagine.
Probably.
Another question from Lee. When you break down Sierra sounds, Greg, what do you think is happening?
Oh well, yeah, it's Ron Moorhead. Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Yeah,
And
right.
yeah, that's a very good audio he's got. And what's happening? Yeah, he had a cabin up there, and him and his buddies go out there, and that's what they recorded, outside their cabin. And all that yelping and everything. And that's I don't know what they're doing out there, but yeah, the Bigfoots are going crazy. I mean, he's even played some for me. Sounds like they're cussing, but yeah, it's been analyzed as non-human verbalization. So, yeah, he's definitely got it. He's got them on there, and and that's some of the best evidence of them. I mean, I got really good pictures of them. I got an audio of one talking. Yeah, it sounds like this. Completely different from Ron's. This was back at my gifting stuff where I give them food, but I put a recorder back there, and it sounded like this. And that's a classic. I play at the Bigfoot shows, and that's been analyzed as non-human verbalization. So yeah, they can talk like that. They can talk like English. I mean, I got another one talking. Speaking of the UK, sounds like an Englishman. He goes, "Yeah, what does that?" And he was talking about that recorder. The other one picked that recorder up and tapped on it. It's all together.
Yeah.
And yeah, some really weird stuff, man. But yeah, they knew exactly where I hid that recorder by the gifting stuff under a bunch of leaves. And when I left, they went right to it. I mean, you could hear everything. They walked right up to it, picked it up, and tapped on it. And that's when the one talked. And then the other one said, Yahweh, meaning another word for God, Yahweh, what is it? And then he went, ugh. So yeah, they wasn't happy about it. And then there was a very loud tree knock. So that's why I don't use equipment. That's another thing I was going to bring up. I don't use any kind of stuff. They don't like it. I got eyes, I got ears, I got a brain, I got a heart. That's all my equipment now. I don't use anything, and I don't allow people to use anything
What do you
if
think
they
about?
want to.
I'm going to say because they keep using these tree knocks. Do they actually do that then?
Well, I mean, yeah, realistically, I tell everybody don't do them because that's what the biggies do, and they communicate that way. We're not biggies. Don't try to communicate when you don't even know what they mean. I mean, I heard them one, two, three. They're different tree knocks, and people, they think if they give one and then get one back, that's a big thing. Uh, you, you know, you see what I'm saying? We just got a return tree knock. Just like a whoop. A lot of people whoop, whoop, and they hope to hear a return whoop or a scream, whatever. But I don't believe in that. I let them do what they do, and I do what I do, and I just go out and talk to them and ask them to do stuff. I mean, I told you one pushed down a tree Sunday night. I asked them to do it. I said, "Hey, we got some visitors here. Could you please show your power? I beg you to push a tree down for them." And 30 seconds later, a big tree come crashing down. And a lot of people can't do that. I'm the only one that I've ever met that can do that. And all I did is just ask them a nice, simple, please ask. And usually they do stuff for me. I tell them to light their eyes up. They do that. I tell them to make some vocals. They do that. So back to being chosen. Yeah, I'm definitely chosen, man.
Um, I was going to ask you another question then. It just came out of mind. Yeah, the Native American Indians used to barter with them at one time.
Yeah, that's what they say. Uh, some of them said, some of them said they even were taking their children. Yeah, and that's one thing I can't understand. I have
Yeah,
never seen any violent ones, so that kind of that's puzzling. Maybe it was something else taking their children.
I know they used to be. They used to give Bigfoot some sort of food, and they used to give him something different back.
Yeah, yeah, I heard they like giving them garlic because it was good for ticks and fleas. It keep the ticks and the fleas off of them, and they would get really mad when you didn't give them to them. That's some of the stories I've heard. But yeah, I mean, I give them food, just gifts. I mean, I don't feed them every day. No, that wouldn't be good. But yeah, just like you give your dog a treat. It's a treat. I'll go out in the woods. My favorite is raspberry donuts. I mean, they will be gone within a half hour. They love raspberry donuts.
I bet they do. Another question here from there's one from Rebecca here. Let's have a look. Do you have any friends or family who are able to interact with them too?
Yes. Yeah, if you follow me, Squatch Man, I got a son of Squatch Man, and he's my right hand man. He's on this journey with me, and he has great action. And they have named one of their offsprings. His name's Eugene Clarence. They have named one of their offsprings Clarence after him. They have
Ah,
mind speak. Yeah, they have mind speak to us. Other people do. I have people come up to me and, hey, what's Clarence mean to you? I go, it means everything. That's my uncle here in Indiana. He was a dairy farmer and he died a sudden death with a heart attack, as my dad did. They were only in their 50s back in the 80s. So I named my son Eugene Clarence. And how divorced people know about this, and then they turn around and name one of theirs after my son. So yeah, it's mind boggling, man. But and now he's got girls. And when the first one was born, we took her out to the woods and they did a drumming ceremony for her, welcoming her to the clan. And it sounded like Native Americans out there in the forest drumming. So we figured that what that was. They was welcoming Sarah into the family, and so that they love my son. They love his family. They love me. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
ah. Question from Lee here. Are different tribes of Chocolotus reveals Greg?
What was that?
Different tribes of Chocolocus.
Is this are there
Reveals.
different tribes of Chuckaloka? That's a good question. Is that what he calls Bigfoots?
I presume so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people say there's different tribes, but I don't know, man. It's hard to swallow. Yeah, I think they're just one big race of people. Just like us. We're all humans, but we all don't look the same. We're all humans, but we all don't talk the same. And we're all humans, but we all don't act the same. Uh, yeah, I just think it just matters where they're at. Well, like if they're up in Alaska where it's really cold. Yeah, they're probably going to be they're going to be different from the ones down here in Indiana, or the ones over in UK, or the ones in Australia. I think they adapt to their environment. I mean, if they're really cold, they're going to have a lot of air. If it's really hot, they're probably going to shred a lot of that air and look more like humans, with less air. But so the bottom line is, people probably just get it mixed up, calling them different tribes. Well, when in fact, they're all the same kind of people. Yeah, they're just adapting to their environment. And unless one of them came on your show and told you, no, we don't have to, I mean, that's the only way you're really going to know. So if I gave you an answer one way or another, it would just be speculation. And I really don't like doing that.
Yeah. Do you think, because there's always people saying, do you think they migrate, some of them?
Well, I heard that story too, but I don't agree with that either. Uh, the ones I've been messing with are out there 365 days a year. Ever since, ever since I started back in '02, they have never left nowhere. I mean, I can go up there any night of the week. I can go up there in a freezing blizzard, 100-degree July day, hot and humid. They're out there. Yeah, they live there. That's their home. And like I tell everybody, they got everything they need out there. Why would they move? Uh, I think the only way they migrate, or if they're living in an area and an urban sprawl comes and starts pushing them back out farther back into the dense forest. But other than that, I don't think like a lot of animals, head south for the winter because of their energy. People, that cold weather's nothing to these people. The heat is nothing to these people. I think they can thrive wherever they go.
Well, Greg, where a lot of people say, where do they live? Do they live underground? Because people have said they've lived in caves. Where do they actually live? Or where do they sleep?
Well, I found a lot of structures out in the woods, teepees. I mean, really well built structures with leaves packed all over 'em for insulation and to keep the water off. Um, but again, that's another question where, I can't tell you 100%. Yeah, I believe sometimes they sleep in structures. Sometimes they probably do sleep in caves. There's a lot of caves around Indiana. Not too many people go down in caves anymore. They're pretty dangerous, especially the unexplored ones.
Hmm.
So, and I heard reports of them. Farmers seeing them going in their barns at night. Going up in the loft, up in the hay. I took another report where a woman said that they were sleeping in an abandoned camper she had back on her property. Just, I guess, it's just like eating, whatever is available. Yeah, because I'm sure that's the last thing they want to do is build a big exotic house. Yeah, here comes his. Yeah. So they still want to be hidden, and they still want to stay away from us, and they don't want us to know all their secrets. But yeah, the more you do the research and investigate, and just add all the dots. Yeah, they're a being of opportunities, and if they find a nice dry place, be it an old house, an old barn, an old trailer, yeah, they're going to use it. Mainly to keep dry when it pouring rain down.
When you talk about when we talk about police and sheriffs, do you think they must know about Bigfoot? They must come across people talking about Bigfoot. Uh, have you ever spoken to any sheriffs then?
I sure have. Yeah, it seems like you're asking all the questions. I know exactly the answer for. Yeah, I got three of them. I got their phone numbers. They got my phone numbers. They call me from time to time when they got questions. I got them up at the forest. So they'll drive up to the campground. Hey, where's Yost at? Yeah, asking for me. Yeah, we need to talk to him. Um, but uh, but the funniest thing, and these are conservation officers. They're policemen with a lot more authority than a regular policeman,
Right,
and then they get a hold of me, man. Like somebody calls in, yeah, there's a big hairy man out in my yard. 911 call. They'll get a hold of me, and tell them what happened. But the most intriguing, one night I was going down to the Hoosier National Forest. It's a very well known forest for Bigfoots. It's a national forest, national treasure. So I'm going down through there one night, and I had a Jeep with a lot of Bigfoot and cryptid stickers on all over. I'm a cryptic nut. So anyway, there's a car following me, and he's right up on my bumper. And this was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So finally, he lit me up. It was the police, state police, and he comes up to my window, and first thing he says is, "It's not what you think, sir. I need to ask you a couple questions about what I seen the other night. And I seen your Bigfoot sticker, and I just want to see if you know anything." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I do, sir. I'm a Bigfoot researcher. Well, what do you need?" So he said, "Well, I was going down this exact road night before last, and there was something running up on the road, and it looked like a human, a big hairy human. And I was doing 55 miles an hour." He goes, "I cruised right up to it, and I slowed down to 50 miles an hour. That's how fast this thing was running." He goes, "I was looking at his legs and his buttocks." He said he didn't have no clothes on. He was all hairy. So he said, "I looked up, and he said he was like way up there, like 8 feet tall, looking down in my windshield, gave me a real nasty look, and jetted off through the cornfield over there, and left a 4 foot track from the cornfield going into the woods." He goes, "Would you want to go up there and look at it?" I go, "Yeah, sure." So we went about a quarter of a mile up where he pulled me over at. And again, he had his lights on and everything. And there it was, the path. I mean, it looked like a bulldozer run through there. So he took his flashlight out. He took his gun out. He was scared. Whatever he seen scared the hell out of this man. So we walked all the way up to the wood line. It wasn't that far away, a couple 100 feet. And he goes, "And this is where I run into." He goes, I didn't go no farther." He goes, I knew it wasn't a human." So we walked back out, and I told him what it was. I said, "That was a Bigfoot, sir. You seen a Bigfoot. And you know something else you did?" He goes, "What?" I go, "You just let me know how fast they can run." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I was up there 50 miles an hour, keeping right up with it." I'm like, "You know how fast that is?" He goes, "That's pretty fast." Uh, I go, "How fast can a human run? You can't even run half that fast." So that was a very big night. But he took my number. I have called him before. And part B to your question is he told me. He said he will be contacting me whenever he needs something over Bigfoot. because the state police look down on this kind of stuff. They do not want officers talking about it. Even if somebody gets a report of going into their house and describes a Bigfoot in the backyard, tell them it might have been a bear. Never say it's a Bigfoot. We don't want mass panic. We don't want our camping grounds empty because people are afraid of Bigfoots. On and on and on. So they know about them. They're just like anybody else, and they're very curious about them. But you got to remember, they're supposed to be the finest of the finest. With their badges, fine law-abiding citizens. So they start talking about Bigfoots, man. People are going to start calling them crazy. So I mean, I can see their point.
Yeah. So what you got planned for the future then? Have you ever thought about writing a book?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I am going to write a book. I even had a couple of people come forward, said I could write all kinds of books. But like I told you, I wasn't in it for all that. But now, as I'm getting older now, I'll be 67 here in November, and I think I need to write a couple books. Get my knowledge and my word out. So it will be so I can etch it in stone, man, for the future generations to read. Because I think I got a lot of good stuff, and I think I'm on top of this. I've really got the people figured out, man, and it keeps getting better and better.
So do you still go out nearly every night then, or a few times a week?
Yeah, a few times a week. I go camping. I take people out camping. I go on different camp outs, and I do a couple of events. Bigfoot shows. I got two coming up. One in Kentucky and one in Indiana in September. And they usually sell out. I talked to over 300 people in an auditorium. So, I stay pretty busy with it. I'm really getting too old to go, walking through the woods like I used to. But I am retired now, and I got plenty of time on my hands. So I think I'm going to write a couple books or have a couple written. And I might even put a documentary out. Like a 2-hour documentary, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good to get a documentary out there
Yeah.
about what you do and where you go. And
But you heard of Adam Davies, ain't you?
yes,
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's offered to help me. Yeah, he's all over TV, and he's got all kinds of books. Yeah, he's a really good guy. Yeah, and he talks just like you. I love y'all's accent.
yeah,
Pretty good, man.
oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's been so nice talking to you today. Everybody in chat rooms been enthralled with you talking about what's happened to you and about Bigfoot and your stories. It's been fascinating.
Hey, I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and I'm happy your listeners enjoyed it too.
Oh, they
I
did.
love talking. I love talking Bigfoot.
I know you do. I know you do. When's the next time you're going out then?
Well, that's a good question. All next week's supposed to be in the hundreds, so I don't think I'm going to go out anytime soon. Not. The first day of summer. Go figure. It's going to be 100 degrees
Oh,
for the next 7 days. Yeah, but I'll probably go out. I might go out. I might go out tomorrow night, man. Saturday night. That's always a good night.
of course it is. Yeah. Will you go out on your own or with your son?
Yeah, I go usually by myself, and if I'm gonna go walking, I'll take somebody with me. Yeah, I usually take my son with me because I don't want nothing to happen. Fall down, break a leg.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I'm too old. Yeah, I don't need nothing like that to happen. I mean, I'm still healthy and everything, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah. Do you still go out with a lot of your mates as well?
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah, I just had a group camp out 2 weeks ago. The Indiana Bigfoot Research Organization. We went up to a forest in Indiana, Yellowwood. Had some action up there. I seen a Bigfoot up there, Yellowwood Forest. There was about 50 people there. And then back in May, first weekend of May, the weekend of the Kentucky Derby, I went in Kentucky at a Charlie Raymond's Bigfoot camp out. That had about 50 people. And so it's really good, getting out with like-minded people, talking different theories, talking about what's been happening over the winter and stuff. Yeah, it's a good time, man. I love, being with my fellow mates, that have the love and the passion I got.
Brilliant. So I'll let you go. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been lovely. It's been fascinating. And
Hey,
everybody's
thanks for having me, sir, and I'll be glad to come back whenever you want me, man. Just
thank
let me
you.
know.
I will do. I will do, Greg. So thank
Okay,
you so
yeah. Have a great evening, everybody.
thank you. And same
Enjoy.
and you enjoy rest of your day.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.
Bye.